Hello, my name is Gianna, and today we are going to be talking about a father's love.
Hello, my name is Michael Kaddu, and today I'm being interviewed about father's love.
What does being a father feel like?
Oh, it's goosebumps, it's all sorts of things joy, happiness, anxiety, worrying about children growing up. It's about fending for them, worrying about what am I going to do if I don't get this done for my children. It's lots of things, but above all, it's a great, great joy.
Really? Okay. Now, when your first child was born, how did you feel? And every time another child is born, do you feel different?
I remember when my first child was born, and that's Michaela. We were in hospital, and they brought her out, and I looked at her with all of these tiny little fingers, and it was very, very interesting looking at her. But then all of a sudden, it's this Steve Martin movie hit me, Father of the Bride. Sometimes she's going to disappear and go. Can't believe it. I felt it right when she was just born. Because you feel you want to own this little band of joy, but then you think she's coming out into life. So right from the beginning, I felt okay. I learned from day one that my job is to look after a child for God's purpose, and then let them out into the world to be. So whenever the next children came, it was again that same feeling coming out. Me feeling that it's my turn to now look after these little human beings, help them grow into responsible beings, and then pass them over to the world, and the Lord will use them.
Okay. Now, as a father, is it different, or do you have a different love for adopted children in a family?
Well, it's a very special thing here because I guess the question is based on the background that there is an adopted child. Now, I love all the children the same way. However, what I've also learned is that children are different. So if one child is very talkative, chitty-chatty, then you find a chitty-chatty loving way. If one is quiet, you find a quiet, loving way. So it depends on what they want. And for instance, if a child likes football, then their love language would be a bit in the way you respond to football. So love them equally, but it's more to do with they're also different. So they're different relationships, but they're all love relationships.
Nice. Okay, I'd like to know what some of the challenges today's fathers face in relation to loving their children.
When I was growing up, my parents just said something and I had to do it. And that was what it was. Today, children have a lot to say and have a big voice, a huge voice, share of voice in what happens. So the challenges today are rather different because children also are very expressive. So that means the father's love should be more expressive. In those days when dad would come around and it's visitors or anybody, you say a quick hello and scamper away. But nowadays, children come over and sit, they interact with your guests, and so it's a very different way. And I think one of the other challenges is now moving into this modern digital mass information age is that children are very informed. In those days, we didn't know, we didn't touch radios or TVs or the record players, but nowadays the children have phones in their hands, and so they know so much. So what is it? It's actually a challenge. We're playing catching up as fathers on our children. So to be an inspiration when there are so many other heroes they can read about is very challenging. They might actually have defined you as not this and not that because they're exposed to so many other celebrities, heroes. And so the father figure has to actually be worked out so well and delicately.
All right then. So, I'd like to know also, what keeps you going to love your children?
What keeps me going is more of being a Christian. It's this thing to do with raising a godly legacy. The purpose of marriage and children coming forth as gifts is for the purpose of raising a godly legacy. And so when I'm raising the children and I see them growing to know Christ, that for me is a great thing. So in everything I do, I try to make sure that the children will grow around Christian circles, understand who they are in relation to God, and then if that happens, it gives me the drive. So everything is motivated by that. The schools they go to, what they learn, how they behave at home, and I believe that when that is done, I will receive a crown of glory, because raising children is like raising any other person. That's God's business. They're God's business. So if I take care of God's business, then He takes care of mine. That's my motivation.
All right. Do you think a father's love is irreplaceable?
Okay, I would say a father's love is irreplaceable, but it also depends on the child, if the child knows what a father is. Because you cannot go around trying to be, I'm father, I'm dad. If the child doesn't feel that and they don't understand what a father is, then they can replace you with anything. So it's just the same thing with us as individuals. If we don't understand who God is, that God's our Father, we replace Him with very many things. We can replace Him with cars, we can replace Him with all sorts of things that people take on and they replace God. So the same thing is with a child. A father is a father. Like God exists whether you want it or not. If I'm a biological father, if I'm a foster father, I'm the father, whether you like it or not. But it's more about the children appropriating that and knowing it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening to me.